for the fans welcomes you to the following presentation of the Simulation Football League.
You're looking live at the Walking Man statue in Fort Worth, Texas, where the Toros are set to do battle against the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yep, do lots of connect. Gone. There we go.
Welcome. The Toros looking to win their first ever playoff game versus the Los Angeles Lakers team that got in thanks to the London Knights. Toss of the coin. It is tails, and the Toros will put their defense on the field. Rob Ems to kick off. And we're underway. The return by Cade Stevens goes out to the 21-yard line. And we'll get our first look at the rookie quarterback, Cam Curtis, for Fort Worth.
Fort Worth brings in a pretty strong defense, Colin.
Top 5 in the league in most defensive categories. But their offense will start things off first and 10 from the 21. Here's the throw out to Komazak. He picks up 2. That'll get things started for Fort Worth. Cam Curtis, the quarterback. Wide receivers, Stephen Hacker and Cade Stevens. Running back, Jason Williams. Fullback, Chris Komazak. Tight ends, Robert Garrett Jr. and Lauren Percoco. Curtis in the empty shotgun will look to throw. Again, down the field, caught, made by Hacker.
Beautiful pitch and catch as the QB was going down hard. But delivers a strike to Hacker, Colin.
Delivers one indeed down to the 45-yard line. Pick up a 22. First and 10. Curtis again in the empty shotgun. Back to throw. Throws complete to Garrett Jr. Knocked out of bounds by Rochelle Colston.
Gets loose over there on the right side of the formation, Colin, and they sort of forget to cover Garrett close, and at least before he was made the line to gain in the first down, right?
Indeed, as they get down to the 41-yard line. Los Angeles shifting their linebackers over. Curtis throws, tipped in the air, and knocked away, and here we go with the hurry up for Fort Worth.
They want to get the bad taste of that near pick six out of their mouth as they hurry up to the line of scrimmage. And he's looking deep, but goes to the outlet.
throws to Williams. He stopped behind the line of scrimmage for a loss of 1, 3rd and 11.
Obviously, Fort Worth wants to continue to possess the ball, but this is a long putt with 11 yards to go.
And the throw complete. Oh, but it'll be 5 yards short of the stick, and Los Angeles gets an early stop as Buddy Play is on the deck.
I mentioned earlier, Fort Worth brings in a solid defense, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. And Los Angeles has their work cut out for them on offense. Obviously, as we all know, the point of the game is to outscore your opponent, and Los Angeles will have to work hard to make that happen. You can see the Fort Worth is favored, giving 7.5 in this one, Colin.
Over under 44.5. Look at the total defense this season. They only allowed 322 yards a game. That's least in the Simulation Football League. They're tops in a bunch of other categories as well, Rick.
They are. So, number one total defense team here on order for the Lycans. As they go with 3 wide, offset, double back.
Richardson gets sacked on the play for a loss of 3 yards. KT Harrell gets her first sack of the game.
Indeed, and Harrell as a name will be, we had pre-gamed that we would be calling often here in this one.
Second down for LA. And they give to Johnson, and Johnson is backed up in the backfield for a loss of 2.
And here's another 3rd and long.
There's E.K. Vincent, and the rest of the forward defense will introduce to you them after this play. Should Los Angeles pick up the first down, they have 12 yards to go. They throw out, and it's an outcut, and they will pick up about 13 to the rookie wide receiver for Los Angeles, Chris Lee. First down, Los Angeles. That throw is a bit of a duck, but Adam Leach, the rookie cornerback, picked number 10 overall in the first round, able to make the play. Richardson back to throw, fires over the middle. Knocked down, incomplete, intended for Jack Flash. KT Harrell, she's been a major building block. 24 tackles and lost, most by a defensive tackle in the league. First defensive tackle with at least 24 TFLs to make the playoffs since Hunter Norwood in season 14. 24 career games, Rick. 22 sacks, already 39th best. Just an amazing early pace from Harrell.
Great season being capped off by a playoff game.
Here's to get to Johnson up the middle. He legs up only a couple. For the rest of this Toros defense, Joey Schwindet is a defensive end along with Gary Marks. Catherine Harrell, we already introduced you to her. David Harrell is the inside linebacker. Outside linebackers, J.L. Browning, E.K. Vincent. We already mentioned Adam Leach. But there's also Aiden Davis, Nacho Sicario, Blake Preen, Ben Stone, and Delaney Nash is a strong safety. As this throw is complete out to Davius Reed, the leading receiver for Los Angeles. It'll be 3 yards short of the stick, and it'll be a quick 3 and out for the Lycans. They were able to move the ball, though, Rick. They'll be punting from their own 38.
As our friends in Canada would say, they made some progress, but they have to punt the ball back to Fort Worth. We'll take this opportunity to remind everybody that the Rick Meter is in town. Rick Meter likes to see a few possessions by both teams as that punt return goes pretty much nowhere. And we'll get some reads here from the Rick Meter staff as we get to the end of the first quarter, maybe early second quarter. We also brought Denver the service dog with us today to Fort Worth, and you can see him. He's a little agitated about what's going on here. He might be rooting for Los Angeles, Colin.
Curtis was 5 of 6 for 43 yards on the first possession. Again, they didn't run the ball. Here they'll run the ball with the fullback, Komazak. He picks up 9 yards, and Chris Komazak sets up second and short for Fort Worth. For Los Angeles on defense, they have Maud Rivers and Andre Krim at defensive end. Raymond Jones III and Forrest Stark are the defensive tackles. Linebackers are Denny Stinson and Buddy Blaze. Jack Hacksaw and Blaze are on the outside. Mike Scott, Thomasina Rahman, Thomas Rahman Jr. are the corners. Rochelle Colston, Peanut Stay are the free safeties, and Ryan Yosef is the strong safety. He had 3 picks last week as Williams makes his first carry and picks up a first down to 48.
Indeed. Hey, if you're new to the SFL, Simulation Football League combines traditional sports, esports, and a role-playing game into one column. Team strategies are being executed in real time by our simulations as real-life players compete on the virtual gridiron. For more information about the SFL, visit our website at simulationfl.net. The SFL, we put the fan in fantasy.
Curtis's pass incomplete to Lauren for Coco out of bounds. 2nd and 10. Only the second miss by the rookie quarterback, Curtis.
Second and 10. Ball at the 48 yard.
From the Fort Worth 48. Fort Worth wearing all blues with gold and white striping on their pants and jerseys as Curtis goes deep, one-handed catch on the play by Cade Stevens. His first grab of the day, and what a time for it.
Well, and there's a potential highlight play for the weekend package for the league office. Beautiful leaping one-hand grab, a little ballet style, for that. That was just fabulous, Colin. You know what they say?
Fabulous indeed.
If you're an athlete, you're an athlete, right?
Here's Hurst and 10 at the 28. Just under 5 minutes to go in the opening quarter. It's a pass complete to Acker. He gets shoved forward to the 16. That'll be enough for a first down.
Acker already with a couple of pretty catches, crucial catches in the first 2 drives here for Los Toros.
Toros up off to a rocketing start. This their second drive of the game. 3rd drive overall. This is play number 6. It'll be hand off to Jason Williams. He has all kinds of room and he scores. Touchdown, Williams.
There's your potentially first of many Fort Worth scores in this game. And that's bad news for the Lycans. Congratulations, Toros. First on the board.
16-yard rushing touchdown by Jason Williams, and he wasn't so much as touched on his way to the end zone.
Indeed. Kind of saunters or strolls his way to 6.
Taco Sicario is the place kicker, brother of Nacho. He's 5'8", 260 is Taco, so he's hard to miss.
He can really put his leg into it, if you know what I mean. A lot of power. Up and through. So Fort Worth takes a 7-0 lead in the early going, and we did have some technical a glitch right at the start of the game. We apologize for that. This sort of interrupted the flow. Colin, introduce yourself and the rest of the crew, including stats today.
We have Mark Lopez and Shan Varner on stats. I'm Colin Northrup. He's Rick Northrup.
Here it is. Good afternoon.
Kickoff is away by Taco Sicario. This will be returned up the field by Tom Rahman Jr. Spins. 3 spins on one play, and he gets out to the 32-yard line.
A real Tasmanian devil of a return right there. And maybe that helps get some excitement into the LA offense as they take the field, Colin.
Los Angeles on offense has quarterback Sully Richardson. He's thrown 38 interceptions on the season. He threw 7 in the season finale versus Vancouver. Looking to get back on track here. This will start off with a Robert Johnson handoff up the middle. He picks up about 7. It'll be 2nd and 3. Johnson is the running back. Davius Reed, LZ Pryor Chris Lee are the wide receivers. Jack Flash, number 86, is the tight end.
And Robert Johnson may be standing at the, wait for it, crossroads of the offense here for Los Angeles. They need good production out of him to set up the rest of their attack, Colin.
They give to Johnson again, and this time he's caught in the backfield for a loss of 2 yards on the play. He has only 9 yards here in the early going as David Harrell makes the stop.
Didn't want to give anybody the blues about that Robert Johnson crossroads joke there. Nothing. I got
3rd and 5. Los Angeles will be operating from the shotgun. 3 wide receivers and tight end Flash. Here's Richardson. Fires this one complete to Reed for the first down. Right at the midfield stripe. Second catch of the day for Reed. Knocked out of bounds by Aiden Davis. For Davis Reed on the year, he led the Lycans with 486 receiving yards on 57 receptions and 5 touchdowns. Sully Richardson only 18 passing touchdowns overall. Is back for another one, and he'll throw this out to the fullback for Los Angeles, number 35, Paladin Smythe, who only picks up 3 yards to set up 2nd and 7.
You know, I would agree with the Los Angeles coaching staff. I like that play. I like the sort of surprise action to the fullback out in the flat. Well covered by Fort Worth. Let's see if they go to that later in the game, Colin.
Here's the gun straight with the trips to the bottom. 4 wide overall. Richardson over the middle, slant caught, first down. That's the rookie Chris Lee.
Well, there you go. First down for LA. So they get it out to the Fort Worth 36. Whoa, Denver's excited about that one.
1st and 10, they go 3 men in the backfield again. With Johnson dotting the formation, he gets the ball. They'll lose a yard, however, on the play. He's trying to find a hole, but he couldn't find it. Found Nacho Sicario instead.
Maybe they're going to set up the play action here, Colin. We'll see. The only good thing about that play was it was on first down. So they get a couple more cracks at it.
They got 2nd and 11. Richardson in the shotgun. He's back to throw. Steps up, nearly sacked, but is able to get the ball away. To avoid any trouble, Gary Marks applying the quarterback pressure. Hit 3rd and 11 now for Los Angeles. They converted 1 third down so far this game. And Richardson over the middle, caught, first down again. Whoa. It's the rookie Lee. Picked in the 1st round, 6th overall from Tacoma.
Great view from the end zone there, as you could see exactly what the QB was seeing. And throws to the open spot, knowing he's going to get a little bit of a window there. Nicely done. They're on the edge of the SFL red zone.
Edge indeed. As Richardson over the middle, Reed with a nice spin and able to get down to the 5. It'll be 1st and goal. That's his 3rd grab for 31 yards.
Boy, they enter the red zone in style. Bringing up 1st and goal. They kind of check in on the Rick Meter staff. They've been impressed with this drive by Los Angeles. See if they can produce some points.
They're on the 5, under 30 seconds to go in the 1st. Richardson over the middle, touchdown Los Angeles. It's Davis Reed.
Wow, he's excited, and he should be. That was a solid drive against the #1 defense in the league, Colin.
He had his man draped all over, and that's Aiden Davis, and Richardson able to fit it in there. So after Fort Worth scores on 6 plays driving 68 yards, Los Angeles goes 10 plays, 68 yards. Rob Ems tried an extra point attempt. He's the place kicker for the Lycans. The extra point is good. It's a 7-0 ball game with 27 seconds left to go in the first quarter. 66 degrees, partly sunny here in the stockyards here at Fort Worth, Texas, right in the heart of the Metroplex in Dallas area.
Indeed. See Eddie Gage writing some promo press release material for the team in the chat.
Congratulations to Mr. Gage, his first ever playoff win as a team owner. And Cade Stevens got rocked down at the 21-yard line on the return. 24 seconds left in the first. Seven all, and Cam Curtis is back out on the field. For Curtis, 3,000 yards, 73.5% as Williams spins ahead, picks up 8 yards, completing 73.4% of his passes. Fourth in QBR. Williams able to pick up a couple more. It'll be 2nd and 2. And that'll be the end of the first quarter. 7-0 here in Fort Worth. You're watching the Simulation Football League on For the Fans. We'll be back after these messages. Welcome back to the Stockyards in Fort Worth, Texas, as the Toros are taking on the Lycans. I'm Colin Northrup. Rick Northrup is next to me. Statisticians for this game are Mark Lopez and Shan Varner. 2nd and 2, Jason Williams with a handoff, and he breaks three. He has all kinds of room. Only one man to beat him, that's Robin Jr., and he outruns everybody. Touchdown, Fort Worth. What a play.
Holy smoke. He ran right around the defender who by all rights had the angle, Colin. Very impressive.
Oh my goodness, what a way to start the second quarter as Jason Williams has his second rushing touchdown of the day. I thought Tom Rahman Jr. was going to catch up to him, but pretty soon I think Williams just outran the angle. That was a 69-yard rushing touchdown. So after scoring on a 6-play drive with a Williams rushing touchdown, they go 2 plays, 77 yards total, 69 of which was on the ground, courtesy of Williams. The extra point is up and through, and 10:50 to go in the first half, and bang, just like that, it's 14-7 Fort Worth.
Sorry, I got to tell you, Fort Worth, come on. We didn't even get a chance to do our sort of first quarter reset. And the ace comment about how both teams traded touchdowns and played themselves very evenly, and boom, that happens.
Correction, statistical working said it was 71 yards, but still very impressive.
71 yards.
Returned by Los Angeles up to the 27. So let's take a look at these Lycans. Their opponents scored 30-plus points only once in the last 7 games, won 4 of their first 5, and lost 5 of the last 7, made the playoffs courtesy of losses by Carolina and Houston to finish second in the Pacific Division. Sully Richardson operate 1st and 10. And we got it offsides, and it was Catherine Horrell jumped before the ball was snapped. This will be 5-yard penalty as they call encroachment. Don't see that very often.
Right. They got to dust off a few of the old-timey calls there, Colin.
The reset. 1st and 5.
Well, you're talking about the Lycans, and they did not enter the playoffs in style, as we might say. A little bit of backing in and not a lot of good momentum, and it's tough to immediately shift things, especially when you're going up against the Fort Worth defense.
Here's the throw out to Jack Flash. He picks up about 3 yards. You see the early quarterback numbers. Both gave it a clean. Richardson with the touchdown pass to Reed.
I think that and the differential in team statistics is the reason for the Fort Worth 7.5 points given in this game, Colin.
2nd and 2. Richardson turns, gets to Johnson, hurls over 1 down, runs over 2 people and nearly a third, but E.K. Vincent cleans it up, and Johnson explodes for his best run of the day. He's up to 19 yards on 5 carries. Look, he shouldered 2 people right immediately, not just Sicario and Delaney Nash, and then he was on his way, Rick.
Yeah, 2 players that are not easily shouldered. Good job by Johnson. As I talked about earlier, he needs to have a solid game, but to trigger the other aspects of their offense. But
here's Johnson again, runs over a defender in the hole, but only picks up 2 yards for his troubles. Tackle made by number 24, Adam Leach. Leading all rookies in interceptions is Mr. Leach this year.
You may have heard it's a team game, and Mr. Johnson cannot do it all by himself.
Of course, Leach has 3 interceptions. As this throw by Richardson is complete to Pryor over the middle, and what a catch by Pryor. She's able to grab it to the 43 for a 1st down for Los Angeles.
Solid hands and technique there on the reception.
Pryor, this season, 51 grabs for 703 yards.
Wow.
Johnson takes it out of the backfield. Is only able to get 1 yard as he shoulders yet another defender.
Leave him on an island there. There wasn't even a lead blocker over there to give him a hand. Trying to do it all on his own. Lucky to get back to where he was.
Richardson in the shotgun. 2 receivers to the bottom. 1 to the top. That is Reed. Changes the play at the line of scrimmage, and he's back to throw. Throws an outcut out to Pryor, and that's a pickup of 5 to set up a 3rd and 5. Los Angeles has been in plenty of third downs early there, 3 of 4. This will be play number 25 total of the game so far. And for Pryor, she's had a productive day so far, and that's her 2nd grab. She's 15 yards total. Richardson shuffles in the pocket, throws, and it's intercepted by the linebacker. David Harrell off the deflection, and oh my goodness. I thought for sure it was going to get caught, but nope. J.L. Browning grabbed it out of the air. What a play. It was dropped by the receiver number 80, Isaiah Bennett, and Browning able to grab it out of the air.
Disappointing end to that possession. Indeed.
Look at these numbers for Williams. 4 carries, 101 yards. A 71-yard touchdown run on the last drive. This will start off with a Carter's pass. Down the field, wide open. Is Robert Garrett Jr. down to the 23. Ryan Yosef saves what could have been a touchdown.
Wow, and that right out of the Lloyd Carr playbook, the sudden change, go for the dagger.
As they go on the deep post, he was wide open.
Oh, yeah, we got good quarterback and receiver there. Obviously, the receiver has to spin around to make that. If that ball had been placed out in front of him, caught it in stride, that probably was 6, Colin, question mark?
Garrett Jr., productive tight end off the field. He's the vice president of player personnel.
Colin's not the only one who ignores me, just saying.
To give to Williams, and he gets stopped the line of scrimmage. No gain. Raymond Jones the third among the defenders that agreed him.
Do they try and throw deep again here, Colin?
Yeah, bringing everybody tight. Hacker on the wing next to one of the tight ends. That is for Coco.
They load the line, too, do the Lycans.
And this will be a flare-out pass to for Coco, and she picks up yardage to the 14 to set up a 3rd and 1.
Wow. Even with a lot of people around the line of scrimmage for the Lycans, Fort Worth able to get a nice little, as you say, flare pass out there. As the Lycan defense begins to send their own rescue flares. They do not want to go down by 2 scores, I don't believe.
0 for 1 on 3rd down is Fort Worth, and it'll stay 0 for 2.
There they go. The Coast Guard comes to the rescue.
And the big linebacker, Denny Stenson, number 93, recording the huge stop. And Fort Worth lining up to go for it on 4th down, at least initially. Curtis in the empty shotgun, staring at a 4-3 look from Los Angeles, and this will turn into be a staring contest as timeout is called. For the Toros, they're 5-1 this season and lost only once to Las Vegas. Their first 9 games, they had 3 30-plus point games. In their last 3 games, they scored 30-plus points in all of them. So the offense has definitely come to life. Uncle Sicario on for the field goal. This will be his 2nd field goal. Dente already made one from 23. Snap, spot kick is on the way, and it is good.
So Fort Worth does take that 2-score lead I talked about, but it's only 10 points, not 14. Shout out to DR Sim 80. Paying attention to the Lloyd Carr blast. I did not wake up this morning thinking I would hear about Lloyd Carr, yet here we are.
6:10 to go in the first half. Tom Rahman Jr. on the return, makes spins, breaks a couple of tackles, and gets up to the 35.
Dang, those spin moves, and he's just going right up the gut with those. No fancy stuff, just coming right at you.
And Junior says he gets it from his dad, who was, of course, a longtime quarterback for the Las Vegas Fury before jumping into ownership. Here's Davius Reed lined up tight to the formation, 2 tight ends, offset backfield. Johnson will get it on the power play. He has to cut it inside and only gets up 1. Catherine Harrell recording the tackle.
Shout out to Gunny McGuire in the chat for paying attention and contributions. Although, since you mentioned Brady Hoke and Rich Rodriguez, I'm going to have to block you. Just kidding.
Throw over the middle. Oh, it was nearly intercepted. Adam Leach went high in the air and almost came down with the ball. 3rd and 9 for Los Angeles. They're 3 of 5 on 3rd down. This is their 4th drive. There's a look at Chris Lee, the rookie wide receiver. The yellow sleeves, can't miss. He's in the slot on the trip side of the formation. Here's Johnson. Took the swing pass, needed 9 yards, but instead he'll be 2 yards short. He got about 7. And Los Angeles will be forced to punt back to Fort Worth. This is Travis Warren on to punt. This is his 3rd punt.
I think you sound about as excited as he is regarding having to punt again.
And well, this time, Fort Worth will start at their 25.
My apologies, Colin. The Lycan defense was able to stiffen up and hold them to a field goal last time. Let's see if they can build on that and force a punt before they get into scoring range. Field goal range, at least.
5:01 to go in the first half. Cam Curtis makes a check at the line of scrimmage. Back to throw, fires it out to Robert Garrett Jr., who picks up 6 yards. Start to drive, it'll be 2nd and 4.
For those fans of Denver, the service dog, they may have heard him in the background as he was getting a little too rowdy about the game. We had to take him out of the press box, place him with one of his handlers. Of course, he travels with his own entourage.
2nd and 4, Williams only able to get 1. And the running back comparison so far is not much of a comparison.
Oh, jeez, yeah, I'm sorry about that. Hey, the SFL's 3rd season of minor league action is underway, and you can watch every Friday night live on the SFL's YouTube channel at youtube.com/SimulationFL. The league is full of all the newest players who've gone from couch to field and are hoping to one day be on national TV, just like all the players today. Want to get on the field? It's never too late. Visit simulationfl.net to join our Discord community, create a player, and start building your career today.
Williams picks up the first down there to the 38. Again, another tight formation. Really like to compress this Lycan defense, and so far it's worked out for him. Another flare pass, and this time it's knocked away. Mar Rivers playing defensive end. Smack that down.
It's his big paw in the air. There you go. Yep. Good technique. You know, for those of you who, the one or two who are fans of this Ann Arbor-based broadcast crew, you may recall that on more than a fair number of occasions, we would do reads and other informational pieces, and the team with the ball would have a great scoring or a great play. So maybe we'll try and read those over LA possessions going forward.
Williams loses 1 yard in the backfield. Jack Hackshaw, number 52, just came storming in along with number 98, Forrest Stark, the defensive tackle. Third and 11. And Curtis, he can pretty much see over everyone on defense. He's 6'8", 223 pounds.
Oh, man.
He's back to throw, fires. Oh, Tom Robbins Jr. with the deflection pass intended for Stephen Acker, incomplete. It'll be 4th down and 11. Icorn on for only his second punt, as Fort Worth is strangely only 1 for 4 on 3rd down so far today.
They've been moving the ball in the earlier downs, manufacturing first downs early in the series.
Punt is away. Rahman Jr. on the return up the middle. He's got room. Oh, I thought he was going to break it open there for a hot sec. Gets down to the 43.
Wow, a little John there, too. I love it. Trying to spark the team. And as I mentioned earlier, no funny business with Rahman. He's going on those returns, he's going right at him. And he's having some success.
Speedy, quick defensive back. Followed not only his father from Las Vegas, but his sister Thomasina as well. Along with LG Pryor. 2nd and 8, Johnson. You see the numbers for him. Only 21 yards on 9 carries.
And he's had a couple of 6 and 7 yarders. So what does that tell you? By the way, is it too early to start second guessing the offensive play calling here? Down by 2 scores, nearing halftime and running the ball.
Here is Richardson, fires it out to Johnson, and Johnson only able to get to the 48. That should be the last play before the 2-minute warning.
I think you may be right.
That appears to be the case. You're watching Simulation Football League on For the Fans. Don't go anywhere. Los Angeles down 17-7. Welcome back to Fort Worth. 3rd and 6 for Los Angeles. They're down by 10, 17-7, and Sully Richardson is looking to direct his attack. It's a 7-step drop pass, dumping underneath to Johnson. Johnson makes it happen on his own as he hurls 2 defenders.
He's got a full head of steam and just plows his way through the defense.
And Fort Worth.
1, 2, 3, 4th guy.
It was Catherine Horrell.
Oh,
Yeah, but-
fourth defender. Catherine, nice job.
Hustling downfield to wrap it up, but it looked like Toros forgot to tackle there for a minute, or they were afraid to. Johnson, he gets the ball again out of the backfield, runs over 1 defender, 2 defenders, and it takes 2 people to bring him down. You see the numbers for both quarterbacks, pretty even in terms of yards, but Richardson so far has been able to keep it clean despite the 1 pick. It really wasn't his fault.
Right. Hey, we'll go back to that tackle by Catherine Horrell. She has the right idea and uses physics as she comes from the side, jumps on the back of Johnson and rolls him over to finally bring him down. Try and take him on head-to-head. And
Coming up at halftime report, Mike St. Green and Cameron Irvine analyzed the first half, an interview with the co-owners of Fort Worth, and an updated view of the quarterfinal picture.
all on the halftime report.
Should be a fascinating sit-down. But
Colin was stunned by how great the content was there.
should be a fascinating interview at halftime. Meanwhile, 3rd and 6, that's not exactly the greatest play in the world as Johnson caught it underneath and was able to, and juked backwards rather than forwards. They called timeout. They have 1 left, 56 seconds. And they'll trot out the field goal kicker, Ems. This will be
Wow. It's going to be lengthy 56 or 57 yarder. No gimme this.
from the center of the field with a hold of Nico Squirrel. And this field goal is good from 56, so they're able to cut into the lead a little bit.
That's good. Gets it back to a 1 score. And talked about this in the past, but the kickers we know, the best one we know is Jason Hansen from the Detroit Lions, who kicked for them for many years. They say that, especially Jason Hansen said the worst placement for him was directly between the hash marks. He liked to use the hash to help line up and use the geometry with the goalpost to actually know how to kick it. He did not want it in the center of the field. Fun fact.
This kickoff, fielded by Stevens, returns it out of the end zone, and Cade will only get to the 20.
Kanye Rockefeller in the chat from the logo. Yeah, there's a logo kick, right? if you're any part of the formation, including your run-up, touches or is near the logo, I think we should call that a logo kick.
Cam Irvine in the chat goes, I think 57 is the record. As Chris Komazak gets his second carry, picks up 8 yards.
I'm not sure if that would have been good from 57. It might have been, as it barely crossed the crossbar. But nice job. LA's defense just needs to hold here for another half minute. Of course, Fort Worth has 2 timeouts. Here's that tight formation again, Colin, that you noted.
Let's see if they run the little flare pass up. Nope, it'll be a Jason Williams handoff up the middle, and he gets to the 36. And
He gets clobbered, but not until he makes a first down.
And now they call timeout with 3 seconds left. Why didn't they call timeout when he was stopped? Not the greatest clock management there in my book.
Well, you know, there's a lot of pressure on these coaches, and
Coach Stephen Hacker's not very happy with his quarterback there.
no, maybe he thought he was waiting for him to call the timeout. We'll see. Be that as it may, they've got instructions for what to do on this snap.
This will be Single receiver out is Hacker. 2 tight ends. Split backs. And this will be Komazak handoff to end the first half. He picks up 2. It's 17-10 at the half. Fort Worth in front. You're watching the Simulation Football League on Florida Fans. Don't go anywhere. Halftime report coming up after these commercial messages.
Welcome to the SFL Halftime Report. I'm Cameron Irvine along with Mike St. Green. 17-10, Fort Worth leads Los Angeles at the half. And Mike, if I'm LA, that's about as good of a first half as I could ask for, considering that Fort Worth looks really sharp today.
Yeah, Cam, you couldn't ask for anything more right now if you were LA. As we mentioned earlier, Sully Richardson had a problem with, getting sacked this season. LA seems like they made an adjustment to that for this game, and they got him in a lot of three-steps drops. And when he has dropped back deep, he's dumped it off to Johnson and in the flats and gotten rid of it pretty quickly, and kind of kept that Fort Worth defensive line of Catherine Horrell and and others in check. And now they find themselves in a pretty tight ball game.
Tom Roman in the chat says we could have asked to be ahead right now. Yes, that's true. But again, given the way that Fort Worth has played in the first half, over 100 more total yards, no turnovers, Los Angeles in pretty good shape. Mike, it looks like Tom Rahman Jr. is going to break out a kick return or a punt return touchdown at any time. LA does get the ball to start the second half, but he has looked dynamic and has played well on defense as well.
Yeah, Thomas Rahman Jr. has looked excellent in the kicking game so far in this half. He's actually given, even though, LA's had trouble moving the ball, he's actually given them good field position. So if a drive stalls, they're kicking Fort Worth back down at the end of the field and then let their defense go to work and hold them that way. So, yeah, Thomas Rahman Jr. is looking excellent in his first half in the special teams as well as on defense.
Every game has been a dogfight. This weekend, if you missed it earlier, Arizona defeats Mexico City 24-21. Mike, that was a sensational game. Ashley Jackson played one of the best games of her career in her first playoff game. An underrated storyline, sometimes the jitters get the best of them. We've seen Colin Pierce AJ, I mean, we've seen some people step into the spotlight this weekend, play extraordinarily well, and they send Mexico City packing early, which is kind of shocking, Mike, because they've looked so good over the last month and a half. Now they're out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as I, anointed Mexico City, one of the better teams in the league about, 7 weeks in. And, and I guess I put the MSG curse on them. But, yeah, they it's really surprising that they're out this early. But in some ways, not really, just because of the team that they were up against. Arizona has really been an explosive offensive team all season long. And the defense maybe not has been as shut down as we're accustomed to from Arizona defense, but the defensive line and that ball hawking secondary have definitely been problems all season long for many teams, and that ball hawking secondary definitely came up big today.
If LA wins, they will play Denver. If Fort Worth wins, they will play Vancouver. Arizona will go to Denver if Fort Worth gets the victory. And we spoke with the co-owners of the Fort Worth Toros earlier this week, Nacho Scario, or otherwise known as Luis Gonzalez, and Stephen Hacker. And Mike, we must have talked to them 45 minutes after the interview was over. It's just the owners in this league are so super passionate. I don't think we've actually interviewed an owner this year at halftime, and it was a great sit down with them. Thoughts, Mike, on the? I
thought we were going straight to it, Cam. I mean,
we're live, ladies and gentlemen. No, I'm throwing you a curveball. It's the last slot of the SFL weekend here.
Yeah, my bad, Cam. I thought we were going straight to it and seeing what we had to talk to those guys about. Yeah, two great guys. Yeah, it was actually late at night, and we ended up talking to these guys, till probably 11:30 at night. Yeah, these guys are very entertaining and very informative with their knowledge as owners in this league.
I'm glad you didn't immediately get up and take a break and leave the camera. Anyway, Gonzalez and Hacker, here's our sit down with them. Thanks for listening. Here today on the SFL Halftime Report, we have Fort Worth Toro co-owners Luis Gonzalez and Stephen Hacker, of course with Mike St. Green here as well, asking the tough questions. How you guys doing today?
We're doing good, man.
Doing great.
Mike, get us going here. As
Mike.
Fort Worth in the playoffs right now, playing against Los Angeles here at the break.
Yeah, I mean, you guys, it's the second year of Fort Worth being in the league. Of course, you guys in a big playoff game Sunday against Los Angeles, and you guys both played together over in Queen City. Tell me a little bit about what went into you guys, saying, hey, we might want to look at owning a team. How did it all come about? What were the conversations? And what was it like, landing a team last season in the SFL?
Well, the biggest thing we ended up having, as soon as we came into the league, we wanted to be co-owners. That was our goal from the get-go. We came into the league, obviously we wanted to be players and do all the cool stuff that comes with that. But ownership was always our main goal. And we've always had, like fantasy football leagues and different things that we would always do together, and we run them together. And we've been doing this for the past almost 20 years now. We've known each other since 2002. So, it's always been our main goal to do this.
Hacker, you guys have been friends for 20 years. What's it like to be in the trenches with someone that you've known for so long, that you trust in, have confidence with, have a relationship with?
It's a great feeling. And, Mike, to answer the last part of that question, we were thrilled when we were voted in by ownership to receive a team. I mean, it's our baby. We wouldn't change it for the world. All the experiences we got on the way, but now we have our opportunity. It's what we worked for, and we're thrilled to have it. As far as being a co-owner with Luis, it's great. I know I can count on him. I know I can trust him. It's just almost like we don't even have to speak. Sometimes we just know what the other one's doing. So trust is there. It makes things really easy whenever maybe you need a day off, or you have other engagements or priorities, or things are going on, and that there's somebody you can count on to take care of it. And want to give a big shout out to Robert Garrett Jr. is another guy that contributes a lot. Cowboy Yeehaw does a lot for our franchise and really helps with our team and making sure things get done. But with Lewis, it's just a whole other level. It's just sometimes we don't, like I said, we don't have to think or even talk about it. It's just we're just right there, and it just happens.
Yeah, going back to your ownership a little bit, I mean, the league has expanded, greatly over the past couple of seasons. We've seen 4 true expansion teams come into the league: Portland, San Diego, yourselves in Fort Worth, as well as DC. And what I've noticed is, these teams have taken a different approach to how they build their team. Portland, DC pretty much went, strictly with the draft. San Diego seemed to go their route with building their team with veterans. And as you guys did as well, what went into the decision to say, hey, we're going to go veteran, or we're going to go, start from scratch and just want to build it from the ground up? What went into the decision of how you built your team?
I'd like this one, Luis.
Oh, go ahead.
So a lot of that was, again, being involved in the community, building some relationships. A lot of my time I spent in stats and broadcasting, and I just got to know some people, made friends. And whenever I got my opportunity to have a franchise and everything went through, we had, a handful of friends that wanted to be on board. And, again, we have a really high retention rate at Fort Worth. We're very proud of being able to re-sign, players and have players want to come back to our team. And so, that was a big decision in that was just there's some uncertainty, right? You have 20 spots to fill. And so when people are eager to come play for you, you want them on your team.
Luis, Stephen mentioned engagements earlier, so it brings to mind an engagement that you've had in life. And actually, we're talking to you here on Friday night. The reason why you're alone and most of the lights are off in the home is because you're getting married this weekend. The weekend that the Fort Worth Toros, your team, your franchise, is playing in their first playoff game. What a whirlwind that must. What have you been going through just this week, let alone the last few months?
It's been a lot of time consuming. Just between the wedding, obviously the wedding is going to be the biggest thing and biggest primary factor in all this, obviously. But whenever it comes to the whole team aspect of it all, everybody's been really supportive, and it's just been it's been great. There's no other way to explain it, because other than my fiance being super supportive of me being here doing this type of thing, and not necessarily her getting in the way of this type of thing, because I'm very happy to be able to have this good time with Hacker and have the good time with Robert and the rest of my team. It's just been awesome, man. It really has.
Hey, man, great stuff. And hey, congratulations on the nuptials this weekend. Let's get to some on the field stuff right now. Like I said, big playoff game coming up against Los Angeles, man. What do you guys expect to see out of Los Angeles? And if you can get past Los Angeles, man, what is the ultimate goal? Obviously the championship, but what's the realistic goal when you guys head this season for Fort Worth?
Go ahead, Hacker. You've been doing more of the game planning this week.
Los Angeles is obviously in their first season as a franchise. And, Luis and I have great respect for Tom and Rochelle. I think they've done a bang-up job getting that franchise going. Obviously, first season making the playoffs. So credit to them doing a great job building their team and putting a good game plan out there. But I think what we expect to see from them, I would say Robert Johnson going to get a nice workload. I think defensively they're going to try to make some adjustments and maybe key on some of the things that we like to do. I don't think that's necessarily a bad decision.
You're going up against Rochelle Colston. She is the first female owner to make a playoff game. So big ups and big shout outs to her. But you guys have some big plans for your organization as well. You guys are, you're just getting rolling in your first complete year as a team. What do you want to do with this Toros team? How do you see the next few years shaping up for you guys just off the field?
Off the field, whenever it comes to all the things we want to do, once COVID kind of lets up, and we're in Texas, so luckily, I don't know if it's luckily, but hopefully we can kind of do more things, and we're more open to do more things, and we want to kind of get more get a sponsorship to be able to go into maybe go into a venue, show the games there, have events there. We have people in Texas that are on the team, so they could come around and have a great time with us at those venues, and it'll be just a whole organization event for everybody.
My last question, Luis, is what would mean more to you this weekend? A wedding without a hitch, or a victory on Sunday? Can I?
The
get
wedding's
you in-
not. The wedding is
me
great, but there's gonna be a hitch. There's gonna be a hitch. That's how it happens. I'm not worried about that. Let's get that W.
Woo! She's definitely not watching this. Definitely not watching this.
Well, it's again, congratulations, Luis.
Thank you.
On getting married, and Hacker already knows. By the way, Hacker, are you doing any kind of speeches on Saturday? What's
Thankfully,
going on?
no.
No.
Oh,
Okay.
no. I'm much more comfortable in my own chair behind the camera in front of one microphone. Big groups definitely freak me out. So, Luis's brother Eddie can probably handle that and do a much better job than I ever could.
Well, we'll be thinking about you all weekend long, and thinking about you here in this game against Los Angeles. Thanks, guys, for the time, and it's coming on. It's coming on, Luis. Yeah, thank you, guys. Good luck this weekend, and best of luck to your team moving forward.
Thanks for having us, Cam.
Thanks, Cam.
Hey, thanks for
And
joining
Mike.
us, man. All right,
Yes,
thanks for
sir.
joining us.
Thank you.
Oh, that was a fun time, Mike. Great guys, and you can just tell the passion for the SFL. I mean, and as far as I know, the wedding had no hitches yesterday, and it was just fine. And now I asked about the honeymoon too, off camera, Mike. What were they going to do? Were they going on the honeymoon today? And he said, no, that's for the off season. So there you go. There, I'm sure Luis is watching somewhere with his lovely wife here today. So.
Yeah, Cam, as you mentioned, hopefully everything went off well yesterday. And as you mentioned, too, before we started the interview, it was just great talking to these guys. I mean, we spent, maybe 10 or 15 minutes before we got started and probably 30 minutes or so after. And I just wanted to point out, man, any of you guys that can make it to the convention, down in Houston, seek out owners like this, pick their brain, get to know these guys. I mean, like I say, you can sit around and have great conversations. And I'm looking forward to as well to seeing all you guys in the Houston area in a few months.
We'll see what happens in the second half. Fort Worth 17 and Los Angeles 10, the last of 4 wild card games on this wild card weekend. You're watching the SFL on For the Fans. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Fort Worth, Texas, here in the stockyards as the Toros will kick off to the Los Angeles Lakers to start the second half action here in the third quarter. Taco Sicario's kick goes to Thomas Rahman Jr. and he goes to the 20 and he gets knocked down at the 24. Rick,
Yes.
Los Angeles was pretty good passing the ball. Sully Richardson in that first half was 18 of 22 for 126 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. But Robert Johnson only 18 yards on 10 carries. What do they need to do if they want to tie this ball game up, Rick?
Well, they're going to need Johnson to be a little bit more productive, and I really think that comes from the line. You watch his runs, and he's breaking all kinds of tackles. He's just not getting enough effective blocking as there's a short drop.
He throws it out to Johnson, and Johnson will get wrapped up by Nacho Sicario.
Put the ball in the hands of your good players any way you can, and that's a good choice right there, eh?
Well, EK Vince in the chat says Rick Meter exclamation point.
Yeah, Rick
I
Meter.
think
We'll
the native-
get
start
to
getting
that.
that.
Got to keep the people, hankering for that. As we look at what they need to do, Lycans have to be pretty happy in the locker room to only be down one score against a very good Fort Worth team that's playing well again today. What a surprise!
Richardson, 19 picks in the last 4 games combined after throwing only 23 all last year. He was an all-star game selection. This sets up a 3rd and 2 with that pass out to Bennett. Here's again to Johnson on 3rd and 2. Runs over Aiden Davis and picks up the first down for his troubles. He now rockets up to 24 yards.
At 2.2 YPC. You're talking about Richardson having troubles, and I think that's a chapter in the book about how titled Los Angeles goes, 2-5 over the last 7 games coming into the playoffs. As he goes, so goes the team.
Here's Johnson again, and this time he lost 2 yards in the backfield. Beautiful TFL made by David Horrell. Or no, that's Browning rather. JL Browning, number 54.
The Horrells. The All-Horrell. Browning is now on the All-Horrell team. Well, and that's part of the story. You asked me what they need to do. Of course, Johnson needs to be productive so they can really get their passing game going.
Here's Richardson over the middle, complete. And it's going to be less than a chest hair away from a first down as Chris Lee almost got it.
Well, 3rd and short. Let's see a crucial 3rd down play here early in the 3rd quarter.
Interesting numbers from Johnson. He has more receiving yards, 33, than he does rushing yards, 22. In fact, he's averaging more yards per reception than he is carry.
He's getting those 22 rushing yards the hard way.
He gets it again, and he walked there. He stopped at the line of scrimmage, and that is David Horrell this time, number 56.
An actual Horrell from the All-Horrell team makes the tackle. And disappointingly for the LA faithful, there's a punt.
It's away, and the fair catch called for by Stevens at the 20.
Hey, the SFL broadcast team is looking to add new talent to our ranks of broadcasters. Applications are being accepted now. Try out for either play-by-play or analyst broadcasting positions. No prior experience is required, just a love for the game and a desire to succeed. The application can be found on our website at simulationfl.net/broadcasting. And here's your Fort Worth offense for the first time this half.
Is the Toros line up in a tight formation. Here's to get to Jason Williams. Spins away for one people. Earls over another. Breaks the tackle. There he goes. Rochelle Colston giving chase. Colston can't bring him down. But Hexa finally does at the 6-yard line.
And that's what the Lycans wanted to see out of for Johnson, but instead it's Williams.
Spin. Hurdle. Broken tackle.
Impressive running.
And it's coming up right about broken tackle.
Look at the heavy 80s style ankle tape job they got on that guy. He's sporting today. Nice.
Williams with his longest run of some 74 yards. He's now up to 188. That last carry. Curtis under center. Turns, gives to Williams one more time, spins in the hole and gets down to the 2.
Maybe I should have yelled 2.
Second and goal. Los Angeles in the driver's seat right now. Driven out 78 yards in 2 plays.
Looking for that 14-point lead they were hoping to get into in the second quarter, Colin.
Williams to the 1. He doesn't score.
Oh, no. Close as you could come without actually breaking the plane. We want to welcome Ricardo Montalban into the game today. Sitting in his seat, upholstered with rich Corinthian leather.
Now they spread things out a little bit more as they bring in a second wide receiver. Here's Curtis to the end zone. Robert Garrett Jr. touchdown, Fort Worth.
Just a quick slant over the middle. It gets inside leverage.
And for the man they call the Cowboy, that's his 6th receiving touchdown on the year. Overall, he had 5 in the regular season.
Well, while we're waiting for the PAT, we'll check in with the Rick meter. The Rick meter has come out with its first reading, and it is full on Fort Worth at this point. Rick meter early in the third predicting a victory for Fort Worth.
The extra point is good, so it's 6:36 to go in the third. 2-yard touchdown, 1-yard touchdown pass to Robert Garrett Jr. from Cam Curtis, his first of the day, and the Toros are out in front 24-10.
LA gets to start the second half all over again, except down by an additional 7 points.
Gunny McGuire in the chat has an interesting question for you, Rick.
Yes.
He asks, where is Herb Velichazi?
Or maybe the Chasey.
As Robin Jr. returns it up to the 20.
Well, he's actually down on the field spotting the plane. Spotting the plane.
For Los Angeles, they now find themselves in a bit of a hole.
For those of you fans of Fantasy Island, you know where we're going with it.
Tight end flexed out his flash as Johnson with
Whoa,
his
there
best
we go.
run of the day by 4 gets a block. He's down the field all the way to the midfield stripe.
Excellent job by Johnson. Gets a little more blocking from his compadres. As you can see, a couple of guys in the lead with some good downfield blocking that helps spring him. Takes
Smite, the fullback, with a really good block down the field. And Los Angeles is in the business at the 50 after pickup of 29.
Yes, sir.
Split backs, 2 receivers to the bottom, Lee in the slot. Richardson steps out and changes the play. Sully is back to throw, fires it out to Robert Johnson, and Johnson picks up 6 yards. It'll be 2nd and 4.
Well, that's got to be a little bit of a concern for the Fort Worth defense to see Robert Johnson be pretty productive on back-to-back plays.
Now they go 3 wide receivers. Richardson throws down the field into double coverage, and he makes the catch. Just Davius Reed for the first down at the 20.
Great play calling by Los Angeles as they recognize Fort Worth might be a little overly anxious about Johnson. Use him as a decoy, and they throw deep. Look at that, it's fearless.
Right in between 3 defenders, Delaney Nash, Ben Stone, and Aiden Davis.
Wow. That was almost It was great defense, but the way that throw was placed, Colin, was not defendable.
They're again to go split backs. This time Reed lines up in the slot. And then again they go to Johnson on the swing, and Roberts looking a little tired as he only picks up about 2.
A little tired and not much help on that. And as everybody may or may not be aware, I really dislike those short yardage swing passes, especially when they're executed like that, not thrown out in front of the intended receiver.
Press coverage from forward. Richardson has to dump it off again to Johnson, and this time he steps out after pickup of 2.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, trying to show me up, are you? I see. Playing for keeps. Likens. Think they do it a third time in a row, Colin?
They're 5 of 10 on third down today, Rick. This is 3rd and 6 from the 16.
Perfect swing pass time.
4 wide receivers, trips to the top. Reed all by himself to the bottom. Richardson over the middle, knocked away beautifully on the play by Ben Stone, number 21. And Los Angeles will try for the 3-pointer instead of 7.
Stone cold as he stops that drive single-handedly. Get it? And forces the field goal attempt.
Look at this. He's lining up in the field goal block unit on special teams. Rob Ems tries the field goal attempt. He made one from 56. This one from considerably shorter distance. Snap, spot, kick is good from 33 yards, and the Lycans are on the board. This is now a 24-13 game.
Hat tip to the holder on that as that snap was in the dirt. Able to still pick it up and place it properly enough for a strong kick.
4-4 to go in the third quarter. Rob Ems takes his second field goal of the day. Los Angeles drives 7 plays, 64 yards. They get 3 points. Fort Worth drove 80 yards in 4 plays last time, and this time Cade Stevens gets a nice return up to the 26-yard line.
David Harrell admits that he was a fan of Fantasy Island. Nothing wrong with that. Hey, that and Magnum PI, right? A couple of monster hit shows, I think both for CBS. I could be wrong.
Cam Curtis, first half. That last drive was pretty good. He's now 11 of 15 for 131.
Replay, but it's a handoff. Sorry, Colin.
Jason Williams will only get a couple of yards. They're able to get a Lycan D lineman to jump.
Let's return back to that information that interrupted you on us. We get the call here from R62.
The call is on Andre Krim, the defensive end. Curtis, 131 yards, 11 of 15, and a touchdown. Every Taurus receiver has at least one reception. Even both backs have one catch each. Here's Chris Komazak. We've called his name a lot on the ground. Normally a good receiving back out of the backfield. Picks up a couple of yards on 1st and 5 to make it even 2nd and shorter. Again, they go bunch tight with the wing hacker. 2nd and 2. Here's the kid to Williams. Jason has the first down. A lot more. He's got room. And Tom Rahman Jr. runs him down at the Los Angeles 36. But boy, it could have gone a long way that time.
That was looking especially scary. Several similar runs. But able to make the sure tackle there. Again, gets on his back and uses leverage to roll him over. We saw that demonstrated earlier in the game as yours truly had pointed that out.
Again, they go with this wing jokers split back set. We've seen this a lot today. Here's the ISO carry up the middle, and Williams this time only gets one. It's Raymond Jones the third. Cleans it up. 2nd and 9.
2nd and 9 will be interesting to see what we get here. What else is interesting is Sector 6. Sector 6 is the official apparel provider of the Simulation Football League. Visit sector6apparel.com or our website at simulationfl.net for replica team jerseys and completely customized jackets, flags, t-shirts, and more that help each team stand out from their opponents. Get to hear the fans wear Sector 6 and the SFL.
Robert Garrett Jr. hauls in his 5th grab as he gets yardage up to the 24. He's up to 142 on 12 of 16 passing. Garrett Jr. 66 yards, 5 receptions, and 1 touchdown.
Just a reminder, the Rick meter is here. It's been a quiet day for the Rick meter as Fort Worth has looked impressive from the get-go, and it's predicting a Fort Worth victory. Full win for Fort Worth. And speaking of Fort Worth, another first down.
Jason Williams again, shrugging off defenders. I wouldn't be surprised if that last guy who tried to tackle him had cleat marks all over him just trying to tackle Jason Williams.
Oh, a contusion.
Oh, Danny Stenson has to go for a whirligig just to try and bring him down.
Getting the icy hot ready on the sidelines from the Lycan defense comes off the field next.
Again, they go one receiver, that is Acker. And here's Komazak again. He gets 2 yards, and Chris Komazak now has 24 yards on 5 totes of the ball, along with 1 grab for 2 yards. For Komazak, he had only 32 carries, 58 yards all year long. So he's definitely outperforming his season average here as the coaches for Fort Worth are looking to get him the ball. He leads the way for Williams again, and Williams scores. Touchdown, Fort Worth.
A little 1-2 punch there on this drive, and Williams takes it to the house again.
As offensive coordinator Chris Komazak, he's called a perfect game so far for head coach Stephen Acker. And David Horrell, who's run the defense, has not done a bad job either. Now 24 seconds left to go in the third. It's a 30-13 game pending the extra point.
I don't know if we have a total offense number on Fort Worth, Colin, but it'd be interesting to compare where they are versus their season average. We've got some information.
Under 42 passing yards. Williams 246.
Total
plus
offense
24 for Komazak. Oh, I can't do math in my head. Math is hard.
Maths are tough, especially when you're calling this game.
Now 31-13.
They're like 270 on the ground.
142 through the air.
Yeah, yikes.
Here's Rahman Jr. on the return, trying to spark something for his dad's team. This time he gets up to the 26. And for Los Angeles, they got 3 points the last time, but they can't afford to be kicking field goals when the other opposition is scoring touchdowns seemingly at will.
Indeed. They've become very efficient in their last couple of possessions, Colin.
For the Toros, that last drive, 8 plays, 74 yards, an 11-yard rushing touchdown by Williams. As Johnson gets stopped in the backfield for a loss of 1.
Sticking to the Johnson running attack. You know what I'm thinking, Colin? Not good thoughts about the structure of their offense right now.
End of the third quarter. Fort Worth well in front, 31-13. You're watching the Simulation Football League on For the Fan. We'll be back with the fourth quarter right after this. Welcome back to the start of the fourth quarter. Los Angeles Lakers trailing big 31-13. I'm Colin Northrup. Rick Northrup is my analyst. We have Mark Lopez and Shan Varner on stats as Robert Johnson takes this pass out of the backfield up to the 32-yard line to set up a 3rd and 4. Well, for Los Angeles, Rick, a lot of things haven't gone right today, but one thing that has is 3rd down conversions. They're 5 of 11.
Verdad?
Let's see, they can go again. Oh, LD Pryor almost caught the ball off the deflection. Incomplete. The 4th and 4.
Well, we had
we take a look at the running back comparison, Rick. You take a look at the yards. Johnson outclassed Williams, but so far it's been no contest. 246 yards for Williams. For Johnson, only 51 yards rushing.
Shows you just how tough of a game it's been for Johnson, who came into this contest with a statistical advantage over Williams, but Williams is working his way into player of the game potentially.
And a fair catch called for at the 31. Bunny Blaze, 134 total tackles. He had a standout performance against Jacksonville where he had almost 20 tackles earlier this year. And so far, Mr. Blaze has had only 3 combined tackles, 2 solo and an assist.
That's amazing, and you'd think he'd be, especially against this running attack, he'd be sort of a featured defender, if you will, based on performance.
They've run completely away from him as Robert Garrett Jr. hauls in another 5-yard grab from his quarterback, Cam Curtis.
A combination of game scheming away from him and double teams may have been doing the trick. I think other teams wish they would have figured that out earlier in the season.
71 yards on 6 grabs for Robert Garrett Jr. As Jason Williams gets another carry. This is carry number 18. He gets it up to the 40. He set up a 3rd and 1. You know, for the Toros, they've been so great. Offensively, they're only 2-5 on 3rd down. 13 first downs all game.
You know, heading into this game, the Lycans knew they had a sort of a very average offense. The offense was going to have to play above their station, and they've not been able to do it. And it's hard against the #1 defense in the league.
And there he is, right on cue. Buddy Plays comes up with the TFL on Chris Komazak as he combines in the assist there for a loss of 1.
Well, let's say they must have heard our call of the game. He says, "Hey, wait a minute, I'm still here, not dead yet."
Eichhorn again for the punt. Rahman Jr., he's had a couple good returns, but Ford was able to keep him boxed up.
It's a Monty Python reference for folks who didn't get that. Not yet comment.
1st and 10.
Haven't had much from Monty Python in the last few games, have we?
No, we have not. As this will be 1st and 10 for Los Angeles in their own 33. Robert Johnson and off. He gets stopped at the line of scrimmage by J.L. Browning, his 4th tackle. He's had 2 TFLs.
Browning having a solid game. Part of the formula to bottle up Johnson.
Trips to the bottom 4 wide for Los Angeles. Richardson under center. Surveys the defense. Back to throw. Has to dump it up to Johnson, and that's not going to work.
He was being tackled before he caught the ball.
Joey Schwendett, all 306 pounds of him, came to wrap Johnson up. Loss of 4 on the play.
Ouch.
Four wide again. Richardson going down the field this time, and it's dropped by Barrett.
Wow, brings up 4th down. That was Disappointing there for the Lycans. But you know what? You need to visit the all-new SFL League website at www.simulationfl.net for info on how to create a player, join our community, the league, and the teams that play in it. Links to apparel, helmets, and a comprehensive history of the SFL. It's over 1,500 games, and it's thousands of players who hit the virtual field. The SFL, we put the fan in fantasy. I'm telling you, check it out, everybody.
Warren again for the punt. Cade Stevens not going to take any more punishment than he has to. He calls the fair catch at the 36.
Not necessarily needing any yardage for offense production. Fort Worth will shift, I would expect, to a clock-killing offensive set of play calls here, Colin.
Look at that yards per carry. It's well over 13 yards per carry, 247 yards, and Williams will gain 2 more and carry number 19 to start the drive.
Who was that burst through the line for Fort Worth and did the Forrest Gump just running downfield as fast as he could?
Trying to look for somebody to block, I guess.
I guess he's going to block the back judge.
Receiver in the slot is Stevens. He has 1 catch for 24 yards. Curtis back to throw, and down he goes. In a heap as Andre Krim records the sack.
Technically a running play, keeps the clock moving, but I was surprised they were looking to throw. Lycan's DN muscles up and brings him down.
For Krim, that was sack number 6 in the year. He led all defenders for Los Angeles with 5 regular season sacks. 3rd and 15.
First one today, right?
First one today for Krim. This pass is going to be out of bounds for Williams out of the backfield. 4th and 11. Not exactly the greatest execution in my book.
You know, it's weird. I'm not sure what they were trying to do, but hats off to the Lycan defense for interrupting whatever program Fort Worth had there and forcing the punt. I was expecting nothing but Williams runs. And maybe they're guessing they wish they'd have done the same.
Eichhorn again for the punt. Ooh. High snap. Oh, nearly blocked. And this time Rahman Jr. will call the fair catch at his own 30.
Not understanding the Rahman fair catch. They're the ones that need field position, and he's been electric on his returns.
Well,
you see.
Time is more important than field position.
You see, that's right. Fair point.
1st and 10 at the 30. They go 4 wide receivers. Barrett, who dropped the 3rd down last time they had the ball, is in the slot. Then it'll be handoff to Johnson, and Johnson will lose 2 yards back to the 28. See the numbers for Robert. He's not having the greatest of days running the ball away. Tackle made by David Horrell. 2nd and 12.
As we tick under 6 minutes to go, Fort Worth leads Los Angeles 31-13.
Here's Richardson back to throw. Slant over the middle. Caught. Jack Flash will make it a 3rd and 2. And for Flash, that was only his 2nd grab of the ball game. He had 1 grab for 3 yards prior to that one.
Surprising here with the 18-point lead by Fort Worth as these teams played even at the end of 1.
Richardson out to the field, and it's dropped. Incomplete.
Nearly one of those circus ping pong type affairs.
Tito Camarino dropped that one, and it's 4th and 2. Warren again on for the punt. Called his number fairly often.
Trying to get them to jump outside. They do not. Snap the ball anyway.
The return by the Toros gets up to the 26. And now the Toros have the ball with 5:09 to go.
Visit the all-new SFL League website at www.simulationfl.net for info on how to create a player to join our community, the league, and the teams that play in it. Forget that. Sorry.
That's what I was trying to do. I was trying to get his attention.
I'm getting slugged by my commenter here, yeah.
That pass was incomplete. That's 2nd and 10 knocked away by Hacksaw.
Occasionally that happens. We're going to talk about social media here in a second after this play.
Split backs out of the far formation. Here's the give to Williams. He's tackled by Blaze, and he's now up to 255 yards on 20 carries.
So keep up with the SFL and its teams on social media at SimulationFL. Follow us on Twitter for weekly broadcast schedules to discover team content and stay up to date on SFL news. Let us know who your favorite team is or how you enjoy the broadcast each week with the hashtag #MakeAnImpact. Thanks for supporting and viewership.
They tried a 3rd down pass and they convert. Steven Hacker hauls in his only 3rd catch of the game. Now he's up to 45 yards. Curtis is now up to 162 on 15 of 19 throwing.
I want to thank the producers for keeping up with my errant reads there. I can feel the demerit being written down in my employee book as we speak.
Here's to get to Williams again. He picks up 3 yards, and now we should start to see the clock slowly grind down. For Williams, he's now, with that last carry, he's up over the 260 mark, I believe. My calculations are correct. Oh, he's close to it. He's at 258. Moment. Here's numbered for Curtis. 119.7 QBR. Get to Williams again, and Jason will get knocked down by Buddy Blaze. Blaze starting to fill up the stat sheet now. That's his 4th solo tackle.
Well, both these teams know what each other's going to do. Fort Worth handed off to Williams up the middle, which has been fairly successful for them, and LA ready to stop that.
261 on 23 carries for Jason Williams. Also has 2 receptions for 3 yards. Will Curtis try another pass as LA shows a blitz. No, he'll give up to Komazak, and Komazak redeems himself.
A little surprise.
For a 1st down to the 45.
The old switcheroo. By the way, in terms of style points, I got to give some to Fort Worth for their their tight formation with a single wideout, featuring either 1 or 2 backs in the backfield. This old school commenter really likes that.
Should be the last play before the 2-minute warning. Play clock under 5. This will be another Jason Williams carry. He gets stopped the line of scrimmage for no gain. And we reach the 2-minute warning. 31-13. Fort Worth in front of Los Angeles. You're watching the Simulation Football League on For the Fans. Don't go anywhere. Final 2 minutes of the wild card SFL playoff action coming up on the other side. Welcome back. Out of the 2-minute warning, the Los Angeles Lycans trailing the Fort Worth Toros 31-13. It's a second down and 10. Cam Curtis under center. Give off to Chris Komazak, and Komazak will pick up 6 yards as LA starts burning up the timeouts.
Komazak getting some work here, as Williams certainly did the job today. And hey, I want to apologize to the website earlier when I almost did a double read, which Colin, thank you very much, stopped me. I said, hey, forget the website. Don't forget the website. Visit the website. I meant forget the website. Read, because we had to do make sure everybody knew about our social media. But sorry to the website.
Here's to get to Williams again, and he gets stopped 2 yards short of the 6. No, that's the backup, as the Toros have called out the dogs with 1:54 left.
Of course, the website and the Rick meter are friends, so I got to worry about all that.
For Fort Worth, they've averaged 368 yards per game in the regular season. They already have 412. That's as of a 4:17 p.m., according to our statistician, Mark Lopez. It's punt. Tom Robin Jr. is fielded and he's brought down at the 18.
They figured out how to maybe bottle up Tom Rahman by kicking it slightly shorter, allowing the coverage to stand there and wait for him to make the catch.
1:46 left. Los Angeles down to 1 timeout, and you see the numbers for Johnson. Not the greatest. He's had a tough day. Richardson down the field. Oh, it's almost intercepted by first DK Vincent, then Aiden Davis.
Yeah.
We have the playoff matchups confirmed. We'll talk a little bit more in depth on the post-game show with Mike St. Green and Cam Irvine.
You can catch those in the chat, but looks like Las Vegas is going to be at Florida. What else you got over there?
We got Lone Star with a matchup at Denver. Those two teams played during the regular
You mean
season.
at Baltimore? Lone Star, Baltimore.
Lone Star, Baltimore.
Yeah.
And then Arizona goes to Denver, number 1 overall seed, and Fort Worth will advance to play the Vancouver Legion live on Canada Field.
I just said they'll be, after we wrap up this game, you'll get a commercial package, and you'll then be sent to the studios for a post-game wrap-up. Cam and Mike.
3rd and 6. Richardson under center.
Needs to score 18 points in a hurry.
Quick drop, fires it over the middle. Chris Lee with the catch down to the 31, and here we go with the hurry up.
Oh, and even Denver's excited. He loves
Richardson throws down the field, almost intercepted.
Another great opportunity for Fort Worth to snuff out this Lycan possession on that batted ball, but they can't come up with it.
Aiden Davis. He was out there. He got it on the ricochet, but it was initially tipped in the air by number 27, Chip Mustang, backup strong safety.
Funny you say ricochet. That was going to be my SFL player, Ricochet. Ricochet.
Here's Richardson out route to the top of the field, and Davius Reed hauls it in for a 3-yard pickup. 67 yards on 7 grabs for Reed. Chris Lee, leading receiver in terms of yards, with 76. Richardson, 31 of 41 for 222 yards, a touchdown, but unfortunately for him, also a pick. He's in the empty shotgun on 3rd and 7. Here comes the slant over the middle, knocked away.
Again, more good defense. More good or better defense. Listen to me, Tucker.
Ryan Rosworth on the deflection, and it's 4th and 7.
4th and 7, and the Lycans, their offense was going to need to perform at a higher level than they have been over the last several weeks, and as I said, tall order against the number one defense, and just couldn't get much going.
Richardson to Breyer. It's going to be short of the sticks, and it's just been one of those days for Los Angeles, unfortunately. They turned the ball over at their own 43.
Just can't get that one inbounds, so LA with only one timeout left.
Backups are in for the Toros. They'll just go to knee. Jason Russell, the backup, doing the timeout called. 1:09 left.
Well, for Fort Worth, it's been a really great game, fairly complete game. Be interesting to see the total stats, Colin, in terms of their yardage and defense allowed. My guess is both are going to be really strong.
Another kneel down on second down.
We've got some ideas for player of the game coming up, I'm sure. As do the fans.
Third and 13 from the Werewolves, 45-yard line.
As the clock continues to wind down and now approaching 20 seconds.
That'll be the last snap. They don't need to snap it anymore. Put this one in the books.
For the Toros, their postseason ride will continue as they take on the Vancouver Legion, number 5 overall seed winners of the Pacific Division. For the Los Angeles Lakers, their first year under new ownership, their journey ends here. 31-13 the final. Rick, as we take a look at the numbers, what are your thoughts on everything we've seen?
Well, I was impressed that it was tied at the end of the first quarter. Fort Worth wins the second quarter and just keeps walking away, if you will, in the second half. And look at that. TOP kind of even, but
that man, Jason Williams, was too much. He had this 88-yard run.
Well, yeah, the Lycans are going to be talking about how they gave up so many big plays to Fort Worth in this thing.
2 70-plus yard runs in this game.
Yep. And if you think if they could have stymied those drives, right, taken those 14 points off the board, that might be the difference.
And according to the drive summary,
165 yards for Tom Robin and Kickerton. 156.
Los Angeles only scored 3 points all of the second half. They were shut out otherwise.
Williams with 261 rushing.
And a player of the game, drum roll please. I think it's going to be Williams. And no surprise, Jason Williams, 261 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns, and 23 carries. Also had 4 receiving yards. Thanks to our statisticians, Mark Lopez and Shan Varner, as well as our producer, Cameron Irvine. My broadcast partner has been Rick Nordrup. This is Colin Northrup. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Post-game show coming up after these commercial messages with Cameron Irvine and Mike St. Green.
Welcome to the SFL post-game update, and congratulations to the Fort Worth Toros. They are moving on in their first ever playoff appearance, Mike. Fort Worth going now to the quarterfinals. They just smothered LA in the second half. I mean, there's just no other way to say it. Put the clamps down on them after LA had a nice first half.
Yeah, Cam, Fort Worth just pretty much flexed their muscles, and going in, they were 7.5-point favorite, and I think nothing happened that was, totally unexpected. LA could only muster a Rob M's field goal there midway through the third, and the rest of the half was pretty much all Fort Worth. LA had zero answers for Jason Williams in this game. 261 yards, 3 touchdowns, a couple of really, really huge runs. If we hadn't already done play of the year, stats, that one run he had there in the third quarter was like one of the best runs we've seen all season. And Jason Williams, just no answer for this guy today, and that's why they called him three of them. This guy had a huge game.
Absolutely. And just as that game was winding down, we have finalized dates, times, commentary crews, and networks for the quarterfinals. Here we go. First game next weekend, Saturday, 4:30 Eastern on Next Level Sports and FTF Twitch. It's Lone Star at Baltimore. An 8-3 matchup and a rematch of a rematch. Mike, after the power outage knocked out the first meeting between the two, they played a second time. Lone Star almost had them, but they just didn't have enough offense. But they made Baltimore's offense look rough, and this is a tough matchup for Baltimore here in the quarters. What's your initial thoughts on Lone Star and Baltimore coming up Saturday afternoon?
Well, Cam, as you know, I know a lot about Lone Star this season. They handed Jacksonville a couple of our losses this year. One thing that does stand out to me is Baltimore and their lack of a running game, and Lone Star and this very, very tough front seven that they sport every week. I don't know which way Baltimore is going to go, but that front seven is going to be tough to try to jumpstart a running game next week. Ace Fennick, one of the top quarterbacks in this league this season. Can Baltimore turn him over, make him uncomfortable on the other side of the ball? And we'll see how it goes. But we know one thing for sure that Lone Star is going to do. They're going to pound the rock with Ike McBride. And if they can get her going and keep themselves in this ball game and keep it close, who knows what can happen late.
And they're probably going to muck it up a little bit too, Mike. They playing down in the mud. That game against Jacksonville was mucked up. The previous matchup against Baltimore was a turnover fest. I mean, they're a very opportunistic team, and Baltimore's going to have to be patient and careful. That's going to be an interesting quarterfinal. The defending champs back in action next Saturday, 6:45 Eastern on Next Level Sports. It's Fort Worth at Vancouver, the 5-4 matchup. After Fort Worth took care of business, Vancouver welcomes them to town. In the way that Fort Worth's offense has been playing, Mike, recently, this could be the best game of the whole playoffs if both teams bring their A game in this one.
Well, Cam, let's be perfectly clear about one thing, is that the only reason why Fort Worth played today is because the rules said, you couldn't have 5 teams with a bye. I mean, this team is basically one of the top teams in the league, and of course Vancouver is as well. We're going to see explosive offense from Vancouver. They love to air it out. Tom Pepper over 4,000 yards passing this season. He's going to hit his targets. Kendra Hall, Brett Killian. I mean, and then also you can't forget about Robert Redford. I think he has the highest per rush average in the league. So we're going to look for that from them. But that high-powered offense is going to be going up against one of the best defenses in the league. These guys pretty much, did what they did today all season long. For a long time, they were only giving up, roughly about 14, 15 points a game. So we'll see if this Fort Worth defense can slow down that Vancouver offense next week.
By the way, Michael Turillo and Benji Matson on the call for the Baltimore Lone Star game. Jeff Melanishin and Ramos Lynn on the call for the Fort Worth and Vancouver game. That is your Saturday slate on Next Level Sports, Saturday, April 24th. Now to Sunday, 12:30 Eastern, right here on For the Fans. Las Vegas goes to Florida in the 10-2 matchup. On the call for that one, Chris Curtis and Ryan Caudell. This is a matchup that we have not seen in the regular season. Mike, and kind of a wild card. Florida's been very good, so is Las Vegas. This is going to be a fun matchup. Two teams that back when Florida was in Alaska played some crazy games. It was a little bit of a rivalry there back a couple years ago.
Yeah, but this is a new season and a new day, Cam, and this is going to be a very interesting matchup. As you mentioned, right now, two of the hottest teams in the league. Max Paul, Mighty RX, can he come up with a game plan to slow down this big play Las Vegas offense? And also on defense, Vegas, they're loaded with veteran players. Merrick Terra, one of them, Slim Shady in his second playoff game of his career. This game, he can make big plays from time to time, but can Florida slow these guys down on offense? And we'll see what answers that Florida can counter with offensively of their own.
Now, another important note, the bracket does not reseed once we get to the quarterfinals. So the bracket is locked in at this point, meaning the winner of Vegas and Florida will play the winner of Lone Star and Baltimore. There is no reshuffling. So you could end up having a Vegas Lone Star semifinal. You just never know how these things are going to shake out, which brings us to the last quarterfinal game of next weekend, and that is the number 1 seeded Denver Nightwings hosting the 11-seeded Arizona Scorpions Sunday at 2:45 Eastern. The two teams met early in this season. It did not go well for Arizona, but the way the Scorpions played today, they have a good chance against anybody. And Denver, although they have been winning, they have been tested repeatedly over the last month and a half.
Yeah, Cam, this could potentially be the best matchup of the weekend. As we know what Denver likes to do. They like to pound Jared McChesney. They like to run the play action, use that to run the play action plays and get their receivers open. That front seven, that offensive line and of Denver is going to be tough for Arizona to deal with. But Arizona is an extremely talented team. Like I said, Ashley Jackson, and we can see the playmaking Ashley Jackson. That makes Arizona, that much more dangerous. Donnie Hands, of course, led the league this year in yardage. But James Hands today had a huge game. DJ Moses. I mean, these guys. This is going to be an extremely great matchup. Stars all over the field. If Arizona can handle that front seven on both sides of the ball, hey, look out. We can have a great matchup.
And the Jays over there, AJ, TJ, and DJ, they all had pretty good games today, and we'll see how they look up against Jared McChesney and the rest of the Denver Nightwings. That's it for us on the SFL on FTF. For Mike St. Green, I'm Cameron Irvine. This has been your post-game update. We'll see you next weekend for the playoffs.